You know what it is. It's prime time rapping. I'm your man, your main man. Glasses, jacket, shirt. You know the name. Super Hot Fire!
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
What's going on, Destination Devy fam? I am Jordan Richards, your boy J Rich, and I am back. And I wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight into 2021. Obviously, we know the 2020 season is wrapping up, and a lot of us are either going to the playoffs or we're rebuilding because we don't stay in the middle. We don't do that here at Destination Devy. We are either winners or we are losers because we want good draft picks. With that being said, I'm going to give you five bold predictions for 2021. I'm going to give you one at each skill position, and then I'm going to give you one flex. Make sure to drop this video a like and drop a comment with some of your favorite bold predictions heading into 2021 as the season wraps up. Now let's get into this video. I'm going to start at quarterback, and I'm going to start with Justin Herbert. Yes, Justin Herbert, the wonder kid, the acne bandit, whatever you want to call him, now that he got his nasty haircut. But that does not stop him on the field. I thought maybe the magic would be gone, but it's not. It's not in the locks. It's in that cannon of an arm that he possesses. Justin Herbert will be a top 5 quarterback in 2021. And yes, I'm talking about the 2021 season. I don't know if he will become a top 5 dynasty quarterback. There's still Mahomes, Lamar, Watson, Wilson, Prescott, Murray, even Rodgers to some extent. There's a lot of guys he's going to have to pass if he wants to get there. But for a guy who currently is quarterback 5 in a points per game basis, he's up there with Josh Allen, up there with Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson. He's up there with all of those guys on a per game basis. But he's going to have to do it again next year. But one thing I do love about Justin Herbert, he's got a 22-6 touchdown to interception ratio. That means that he isn't turning the ball over that much. He's also completing 68% of his passes, which is extremely high for a rookie. And the biggest thing for Herbert that I love is he has his weapons around him. He's going to have Mike Williams. He's going to have Keenan Allen. The only guy he really might lose is Hunter Henry, which they could potentially replace in the draft if they do choose to do that. But we all know the issue with the Chargers, and that's the defense. The defense isn't very good. They don't help Herbert at all. They force him into a lot of high-scoring games, and maybe that helps him a little bit. But I don't think in a general sense that helps a lot of quarterbacks. You want a good defense. It helps quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson deal with short fields. And I do think that it's going to be better for Herbert to have a better defense, get Derwin James back, get Joey Bosa back, build up this entire defense to make sure that everyone's healthy. And I do think all things considered, the Chargers should be a very good defense in 2021, or at least better than they were this season. Hopefully Herbert can help take that offense to the next level, have Austin Eckler for a whole season, have a consistent running game, and that can potentially get Herbert to be a top 5 quarterback in 2020. Now, my second bold prediction is going to be at running back, and I'm going to go to Antonio Gibson. I think Antonio Gibson is going to be a top 10 running back in 2021. Now, let me tell you a few reasons why. You know, Antonio Gibson came in, he was a receiving back. He didn't get a lot of carries. Yes, he had over 1,000 all-purpose yards. Yes, he averaged over 10 yards per touch, but he was known mainly as a receiving back. But you look at what he's done so far for the Washington football team, and he already has 500 yards. He already has almost 120 carries, and he has 8 touchdowns on the ground. On top of that, he has 32 targets, 27 receptions for an 85% catch rate, which is extremely high even for a running back. And as we know, he's a receiving back, so he can catch the ball very, very well. Now, they already have Terry McLaurin, and we do expect them to find some clarity at the quarterback position. That's their main driver right now. They can move the ball with Alex Smith at quarterback. They really struggle with Dwayne Haskins and Kyle Allen, but now it's about solidifying that quarterback position. And once they do that, whether it's in the draft, in free agency, however Ron wants to go about that, I do think it's going to drastically improve that situation, and I do expect Gibson to see the results of that. And on top of that, he's only playing 44% of snaps right now. How many running backs do you know other than maybe Alvin Kamara, who can play 44% of snaps and be basically an RB1 on the season this year? Yes, there's been injuries. Yes, there's been a few other factors. But Antonio Gibson has been really, really good for fantasy, and he's been really, really good for the Washington football team with solidifying that quarterback position, hopefully getting a larger snap share, playing in that Ron Rivera offense that we know is very good to running backs. He's going to be able to catch passes out of the backfield. He's going to be able to get a lot of carries, especially on the goal line, and they're going to want to use him as a bell cow running back. Yes, J.D. McKissic is there right now, but I don't expect him to be a problem long term, and I do think that Gibson could be a top 10 running back in 2021. So go out and get Antonio Gibson while you still can. I don't think he's being valued the way DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, all of these running backs are, but he's probably just as poised to have a really good season as all of these guys. It's just kind of the stink of Washington, and that's the reason why he doesn't get that same respect. But there's just as much opportunity for him there as there is in these other places, and I do expect the football team to be much better heading into next season. Now, the wide receiver I want to talk about is one of my favorite wide receivers in the NFL, and you've heard me talk about him a little bit if you've seen me on Twitter, and that's the wide receiver from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Diontae Johnson. No, it's not Juju Smith-Schuster. No, it's not the sensational rookie Chase Claypool. It's Diontae Johnson, who in my opinion is the number one wide receiver on the Pittsburgh Steelers. He has 81 targets in only 9 games, and one of those games he exited in the first quarter only seeing 1 target. So for a player to have basically 81 targets in just 8 games played, that's 10 targets a game. That is an alpha stud wide receiver. Now, we have seen him deal with some injuries. He's been a bit banged up. He's been a little bit inconsistent, but I do truly believe he's going to be a top 12 dynasty wide receiver by next season. Everything is pointing up for Diontae Johnson right now. He's on pace for roughly 150 targets if everything goes his way, all while missing 1 game already this season. He's basically the replacement to Antonio Brown that the Steelers were looking for. Chase Claypool may eat into his touchdowns a little bit, but I'm not concerned because the volume for him is going to be there. Now, I'm not trying to say the volume isn't there for Claypool. He himself is on pace for over 100 targets. If you guys didn't know, he's got 65, and so there is a lot of room for growth in that offense. We've talked about Juju potentially leaving. We've talked about how good Diontae Johnson is. We've talked about how good Claypool is, but I do believe that Diontae Johnson is the stud wide receiver in that Steelers offense, and that's a player that you really want to own on your team. The volume is there. They have extremely high floors, and it's going to be consistent week to week. As I mentioned, he's battled some injuries, but that's not something I want to bank on every single year. If he has a full year, if he's healthy, he could easily see 150 targets and double-digit touchdowns because he's that talented. He's improving every year, and coming into his 3rd year, it may finally be that massive breakout we've been waiting for from Diontae Johnson in that Steelers offense. Now at tight end, I'm going to get a little bit spicy here, but it's not spicy to the Destination Devy people. It's not spicy if you listen to my man Ray GQ, and that's what I think that Kyle Pitts is going to be a top 5 tight end in 2020. And I've already heard Ray say Kyle Pitts is a top 5 dynasty tight end today, but I'm talking about next season. I'm talking about a guy who is 6'6", 250, the tight end out of Florida, the most unstoppable weapon in the red zone in college football today. Now, we haven't seen as much of Pitts as we like to because he's been dealing with a concussion as well as suspended games at Florida due to COVID. For a guy who has 8 receiving touchdowns on only 25 receptions, that is an insane 33% touchdown ratio. That is insane. That is so high. It is probably the highest in college football for a player of his caliber. He's probably going to be drafted in the 1st round. He's going to be used very much in the NFL, and I fully expect Kyle Pitts to be a top 5 tight end in 2020. Tight end is that terrible. Tight end is that bad, ladies and gentlemen. You really need to go out there. You need to get Kyle Pitts. You need to get Pat Freiermuth. You need to get these stud tight ends because they are coming in this draft class. But I do think Kyle Pitts is the cream of the crop, especially for fantasy, because he can do things that some of the other tight ends can't do. He's been able to run down the seams and catch balls up high over players because he's that athletic. He's going to be that good in the NFL. So, my bold prediction to you, number 4, is that Kyle Pitts will be a top 5 dynasty tight end as a rookie. Now, my final flex is, it's going to be a little bit hot takey, especially for how bad this player has been, but I want to kind of put some respect on his name and bring him back into light for you guys, and it's DJ Chark, the wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars are a terrible, anemic offense. They are a terrible franchise. They have not done a whole lot right in the recent years, but the 2 things they've done really well, they drafted James Robinson, they didn't draft James Robinson, they brought him in, and they drafted DJ Chark. DJ Chark is an extremely talented wide receiver. We saw what he did with Gardner Minshew. We saw what he's done a little bit with Gardner Minshew this season and Jake Luton in his first game with Luton. And so it's really just a matter of time for Chark, and all he really needs is a capable quarterback. We've seen what he can do, kind of like Terry McLaurin in Washington, without a whole lot of quarterback play. You give these guys a quarterback, you see what they can really do. And so I think he could easily be a top 16 wide receiver in Dynasty because he's that talented. He has the touchdown upside. He's 6'4". He runs in the 4.3s. He can beat anybody down the field. He's a field stretcher. He can run drag routes. He can run crossing routes. He can run everything you need him to run, and he's an alpha wide receiver. He commands coverage. He makes that team better, and he can still get it done. So it may be a little bit of a hot take. You guys may not completely agree. There is a lot of wide receiver talent coming into the league. When I talk about players that are going to be undervalued going into this offseason, as guys I was buying this offseason hoping they could take that next step, I still believe in DJ Chark to get better. And if they take a quarterback, if they get Justin Fields, if they somehow get Trevor Lawrence, even if they have to take a Trey Lance, a Zach Wilson, I do think there's a lot of upside with a quarterback who knows what he's doing, who's smart, who can deliver the ball to Chark on time and accurately, and that can really elevate him in Dynasty because that's what he's been missing. He's been missing a quarterback who can really get him the ball, who will throw it in tight windows, who can get the ball, spread the ball over the field. I do believe DJ Chark could be the answer, could be the hidden key for a lot of Dynasty rosters this offseason. So there's my 5 bold takes for this 2021 season. Thank you guys for watching this video. Drop it a like and a comment. Give me some of your favorite bold predictions, some of my worst bold predictions if you want to roast me in the comments. But thank you guys for watching. Check out more Destination Devy content, and I'll see you guys next week.
Production.